Flosstube, it's Arlene here. It is Friday, November 6th, and I'm trying to get this in this afternoon with light before it gets dark, because it's getting dark awfully early, and that's just been a struggle this week. I hope everything's going okay with you. There's a very good chance you've turned to Flosstube to be distracted by what's going on in the world, and I can understand that, so we're just going to stick with stitching related things because you can get other things in other places. It's been a few weeks since I've been here, not that long ago, but there's a specific reason why I wanted to make sure to do a video now, and it's the first thing on my list, which is to share with you that I'm running a sale on my Etsy store. If you are new here, welcome. In addition to making Flosstube videos, I design patterns, and WorksByABC is my business on Etsy, and there will be a link below to get to my shop. For the next couple weeks, 15% off everything, and I'm going to do free shipping in the US as well. I believe I've done this before in November, and it boils down to this. Between the time change, elections, my birthday is coming up, all these reasons to kind of need to take a deep breath and do something. And why not have a sale? Why not encourage some shopping, which would make me happy? So I'm encouraging you to head over to my store, take a look at what I have, just so that you know I sell patterns both as PDFs and as paper copies, so you can find them either way. They are listed in separate listings. You can't do both in one listing on Etsy. So if you are a PDF person, you can search and just find the PDFs and that'll list them. If you're a paper person, you can search the word paper and only those will be listed. So just keep that in mind. I've been designing now for 3.5 years or so, and there's quite a lot of designs on there. I've been thinking about maybe I should just take off some of the old ones that don't get purchased. I don't know. They're just sitting there. So I would welcome any business from you, and thank you for those who are supporting me, and frankly, who have supported me for these years. It has been such a joy to be doing this designing work, to look around and find inspiration in all kinds of places, and I just want to keep doing it. So this is going on for the next 2 weeks. It's one of the reasons I wanted to come on and make a video today, is to make sure to get that announced. I did put it on my Instagram also. And I think that's all I need to say about that. Thank you. Got a couple of stitching related things to share with you. This is what Flosstube is supposed to be about. I stitched something since the last video, and I meant to go back and check. I'm almost positive I didn't mention this, and I may not have even been stitching it yet at that point. But I stitched something and FFO'd it, and I love what I've created here. So here's a little chair with, let me do this, with 2 different designs on it. And I love this. It is, I think it's about 7 or 8 inches tall. I got this pattern from McKenna at 1884 Stitchery. I asked her, she doesn't have any more of the chairs in right now, but she is getting them. So go follow her. She posts when, Instagram, Facebook, she posts when she gets a new shipment of stuff in. So I had seen this. I just loved the idea of just doing something different. It came with 3 different patterns. This one that you see there, buttons and scissors, and a Quaker one, and a something or another. But I sort of knew I was just getting it for the parts. So it came with there's 4 parts to this chair, a front, a bottom, and then the 2 sides. You do your stitching, you attach them, and what's great about these primitive and wood items, and McKenna also has like frames and stuff from them, is that they have these holes. So you can stitch your finishing of your item could be done really nicely because there's these pre-created holes for you. I did work, carefully on doing this. I also realized, so I designed both of these, and I realized I was really cutting it close with the edges, even though I thought I was okay with size-wise. It just didn't work out that way. If you are looking at this and saying, that looks awfully small, I did this 28/1. And the reason for the over 1 is that it would give me more room to get more stuff in, more stitches in. So I figured if I want to make a nice design, I need to have the count small so I can fit more in. But they're charted for, you could do any, oh, I should say that. They give you the number of stitches, so if you wanted to recreate something, but I believe the charted ones are either 28 or 32, you know, over 2. So I just think this is such a unique little thing. You know, they make it, they've got some pins in there, like it's a pin cushion kind of thing. Right now it's just decorating my table, and I like it. So you can look to 1884 for when she might have some more of these, if this kind of thing intrigues you. You do the stitching on the 2 parts before you assemble everything. So it's not like you're trying to, you know, get your hand in there or anything. So that's my one of the stitching things I've been doing recently. I don't think it took me that long to stitch those pieces. And then the other stitching thing I wanted to share with you is only going to be a partial share. I'm going to show you where I am, but I'm not showing you exactly what I'm doing. So I believe the last time I was on, I did talk about my adventures in dyeing thread. Oh, that's the thread I used on this is the thread from the dyeing that I did before. So this thread came from using hyacinth. I think that's what I used, Rit dye. So I believe I told you that dyeing attempt was more like a practice, because I knew the pieces of fabric that I was using were not going to work for what I actually needed as a project. So after that, I did go and get some, you know, white fabric, and knowing sort of what color I wanted, wasn't sure how to make it. I'd first mixed indigo and purple, and that came out a little too blue, or too closer to blue than I wanted, something in the middle of rose. So then I did it all over again, just with purple, and that helped even it out. And the end result is this color. Now, it's actually showing up pretty decently color-wise, because I cannot get a good picture of this color for Instagram. I've tried during the day, I've tried in the evening, under hot light, out in the sunlight. Anytime I try to take this, it turns either blue or gray. It's actually quite fascinating. So I'm pleased that on this camera it comes out. And if you have any questions of what color it is, pick up 340. If you got that in your stash, that is basically the color of my fabric that I dyed. So you can see the beginning of a stitch project. This is, you know, it's going to be square. So here's one corner, there'll be other corners. You can probably guess that this is another one of my inspired by a piece of lace designs. And you might be able to see, especially if I come in close. So I used 28 count with the idea that I was going to be doing another one of my designs where some parts are 1 strand, some parts are 2 strands, some parts are 3 strands. Because 28 count, you can get away with 3 strands. Just as I, put in a few stitches of 3 strands, I was like, no, I don't want to do it and it doesn't look good. Not that this one's going to have that many areas of that needing the 3 strands. So I started to play with something else, and I kind of like the way it's coming out. I hope I continue to like the way it's coming out. So the most darkest, dense areas, I'm using 2 strands. The middle area, or the middle of those 3, I'm using 1 strand full crosses. And then the lightest of those 3, I'm using 1 strand half crosses. Now you come in close, it doesn't look, I don't know, you get thrown off, I get thrown off by the angle of the tent stitches. But I think overall with the other things that are going to be going on in here, I like the look of it. From a distance, I really like the look of it. I have not yet posted this on Instagram other than some background, another part related to it. And partially it's because I just can't get a good picture color-wise, but I might, we'll see. Anyway, you guys get to see what it looks like here. So that is my current stitching project. Okay, next thing on my list, I wanted to share with all of you a new but old find. It was about 1.5 years ago. I want to say it was the spring of 2019. I shared with you all a finishing thing that I know many of you went and bought yourself. So the finishing is when you want to finish in a circular frame, but you don't want to do anything difficult like lace it in the back. This is a amazingly simple, easy idea. So the back of it, notice this little cutout area here. This is just a piece of, wood or, particle board or something. And my actual item, the actual stitching is just in a hoop. So you get the tension that you want, and you just cut away some of the extra. Look how not neat this is. But then it goes right in where it's made to go. You take this, you put it on with just a few flicks like this, and you have a professionally looking framed piece. And there's a cutout spaces if you're going to hang it like on a nail or hook. So when I shared this 1.5 years ago with a different piece, which I don't have in my possession right now because my models are in a trunk show up at Needleworkers Delight, and the piece is up there. The person who was selling them was called Stay Home Stitches on Etsy, and then she also had a website. For this project, I'll talk more about this project in a second, I knew circular frame. I go to her Etsy store or her website, and I'm greeted with the, "Thank you all so much for being great customers. I'll be shutting down my business in December, and last orders I'll take is October." And it's like, oh, it was such a great concept. Now, granted, she wrote this beautiful thing of why she was in grad school and was going to be graduating and starting a full-time job. I want to say like speech therapy or something like that, and was just excited to move on to the next stage of her life, that she did this as a little side business while she was in school and never imagined it to be as big as it was. So, for a specific reason, which I'll come to, I could have ordered in her last little wave, but I started looking around to see, is this idea out there? And I found another Etsy seller that it was out there. And in communication with him, what I've come to learn is that he was the guy he was the original source. She, the Stay Home Stitches, was a distributor of his. He decided, partially because she wanted to close her business, and for other reasons, he's decided to start selling retail now. So he just this week relaunched his Etsy store. It's called ACMS Needlework Shop, and ACMS stands for Advanced Craft Making Solutions. I'll put a link below. You will see that you can buy circular frames with all kinds of different edges, frame shapes. And he's also got like ovals and squares and like other shapes. Now, I was trying to picture what kind of hoop comes with those, but you can go explore your own. The cool thing about it, well, the whole thing is cool, but the additional cool thing is that, so granted, this is a wood finished one. You can get painted ones, and they will be painted whatever DMC color you want. So if you want, let's say, a green frame, but green could be all kinds of things. Maybe the generic green he has in the store is exactly what you want, but maybe no, you really want it to match pretty close to this color that is the whatever. You just write in the thing, I need it close to DMC, whatever number, and that's how you get it. The one that I don't have in my possession, it's up at the store right now, I did that. It was a particular DMC number, and it came out beautiful. This one is a wood so I encourage you to go visit his shop, especially if you have something circular that you want finished. He's got all different sizes, which is just awesome. I've shared this project a couple of videos ago, I think. But I didn't tell you what I was doing with it. And it is not something you're going to, the pattern for this is not something you're going to find in my Etsy store. I'm excited to share with you now that I can, is that I have been accepted to having an EGA class for next year. To be specific, EGA stands for Embroiderers Guild of America. And people belong to chapters. People could be an at-large member. They put out a magazine. There's a few other things you can do with them. One thing they offer is online classes. And this is before COVID. There were even online things. They have different kinds of classes. They have in-person once-a-year conventions, which didn't happen this year. But their online offerings, there's different kinds of ways you could do it, but I was accepted to do an online class. So the schedule is not going to be for literally a year from now in 2021, but part of the class is I can offer kits. And when I realized this, I thought, boy, I bet there's a lot of other people that are going to be interested in a finishing idea like this. So his frames are going to be part of the kits that I'll be offering. So I'm excited for that opportunity. This is a study in all kinds of different stitches, specifically different cross stitches, that the kind of stitches you may be, for those who do needlepoint, you may be used to seeing on canvas, but instead I've done it on fabric. And for those who are cross stitchers that occasionally do a specialty stitch, well, some of those are showing up here, but in full coverage, so to speak. Like this, the second ring is Smyrna's. And many of you have done a Smyrna here and a Smyrna there. This is all Smyrna's. That was my thinking. That was my idea of this. I am hoping when the time comes, there'll be a lot of people signing up for it. If you are interested in EGA, I will put a link below. I will remember to put a link below just in case you're interested in exploring it. I've been a member for years. I joined mostly originally because of the magazine. I didn't know about a local group until a long time later. I am technically a member of that local group. I haven't done much with them, but there's something coming up with them in January that I will be doing with them, and I'll share with that at another time. So go visit, his name is Christian. Go visit Christian at ACMS Needlework Shop. He hasn't paid me for this at all. I just know how excited I was to find this idea. And when I shared it a year and a half ago, others were really excited about it. So much so that the woman who ran it contacted me and said, we've had a number of orders that have said that you were the source of where they got the idea. Thank you. If you buy something, let Christian know that you heard it here, just because it would mean a lot to make that connection. The last couple things I have to talk about are related to my lace world. If you are new here, in addition to stitching, I also do bobbin lace and other kinds of lace work that it's just part of my world. If you are not interested in lace, thank you for being here. Go ahead, find your next video to watch. But it's, you know, just like there's some floss tubers that show quilting or knitting or their other world. My other world is lace. So the last video I made, I was talking about limerick lace, and I'd said that the cover on this book was odd in that it was black, because most, if not all, of the lace in here is white. What limerick lace is not a bobbin lace, and it's not even what's referred to as a needle lace. It is basically embroidery on tulle fabric, but it's got a history, and it gets to fall under the category of lace for what it is. I had done a little practice piece, and then I wanted to try something else with it. So I found in another lace book a line drawing, and I did it using the limerick lace techniques. So it's not, I don't know if you can see very well on there that like each of these areas is a different stitch. All the flowers are one stitch, all the leaves are another stitch, and then those other 6 areas are 6 different stitches. Just wanted to play around with it, and I did. And I want to say it's kind of out of my system now. I don't know if I'll come back and do another limerick lace piece, but it's an interesting idea to take tulle, and this is not like the plasticky kind of stuff or the stiff stuff that you would get at Joann's. This I got from a seller on Etsy. It's cotton. And you stitch embroidery stitches basically in it using this as a ground cloth. So there it is, my little piece of limerick lace that I am glad I took the opportunity to explore. My computer just did something funny. Hopefully we're good. All right, and then the last thing, I forgot to pick it up. Just the last quick thing to share with you. I knew this video was going to be short and sweet, and I forgot to say at the beginning that I really didn't have that much, but it was a good time to do a little check-in with you all. The last piece is I just recently started, like last week, a new bobbin lace project. And I tried to figure out if I could show it on here. It's logistically difficult. There's a picture on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. You will see I'll try to do some updates as I work on it. It's something that I'm excited to work on, so I'm hoping to, a few minutes here, a few minutes there, try to get working on it. Now I'm going to show you what it will look like, sort of. So this is a pattern I purchased off of Etsy, and I totally forgot. It's SP Creative Crafts, designed by Suzanne Plamping. If there's any lace makers here, I'll put a link to her store. Maybe you want to check it out. But this just was so striking. Now, why she did this as a small little, why didn't she just do one big one? I don't know. But so if I just sort of hone in there, it's all the same pattern. It's just, she just did 4 of them in this picture. I just thought that was the most unique looking thing. What I also found interesting, I mean, there's some other pictures in the information that certainly indicate that she has done this work. Why didn't she just do one good picture of hers? I don't think these are computer generated, but I don't know. Anyway, so I am working on this. I'm doing black thread, and I will look forward to the time when I could share it with you. I will try to, I know a few times I've done lace with me, many people do stitch with me, lace with me videos, and I was able to kind of get a good angle going so that you could at least see something of what bobbin lace is, and I may try to do it. This one has 57 pairs, which is to say 114 bobbins, and so you spend a lot of time just doing bobbin management, move this chunk here, bundle this chunk up, and so on. And that's just the way it is. So there we go. That's about all that I have to share. My big motivation was making sure to share about my sale in WorksByABC Etsy store. And so I wanted to just share what's going on the last few weeks. I hope that everyone is taking deep breaths and we are all going to move forward in a positive direction. I hope you're all doing lots of stitching or whatever it takes for you in terms of stress relief and just putting you in your happy place. Because I know if I didn't have stitching in my life, like I just can't imagine what life would be like. So thank you very much for being here. I so appreciate you have so many Flosstube channels to choose from. Thank you for coming by, leaving comments, leaving likes. It's all so appreciated. And till next time, bye.